What's up, guys? Little pop-up show tonight. Little little pop-up thing. You're promoting the Bob Vu Southeast Reptile Show, and Steven from Leviathan Snakes has done a new episode of his documentary that's coming out 2 days prior to the show. I believe it's coming out on the 12th, but I'm not positive about that. Steven is here to let us know. We're gonna just be pimping some shit, and we're just gonna have a little fun tonight. Let's just give a couple of validations before we start really quick. Let's see, who do we got in here tonight? Kevin, what's up, brother? Looking forward to our travel down to Atlanta next month. Blake, what's going on, brother? How are you doing, man? Bosa Reptiles, thank you. I saw Bosa in like 5 different chats tonight. Aaron Klein, batter up balls. What's going on, man? 319 Reptiles, Patreon member. Thank you, Chris. 15 minutes of lane contestant. Bodge Exotic Reptiles, an original 15 minutes of lane contestant from season 1. HJS Serpents, they're going to be on Saturday's show, episode 131, for the 15 minutes of lame. Morph Avenue, Mike Duval. What's up, brother? How you doing? My boy William Sanford, who was also in the competition this year, and Will is just just killing it on everything he does here. Will, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. What's up? The better half of Leviathan. Scaled Worm. What's up, brother? Thank you for coming by. Irresistibles, my girl Nikki. Nikki is going to be hosting 15 minutes contestants this year on What's in Your Rack. So you guys will get another shot at pimping your wares out to people and showing them what you do. Excuse me. I just had Chinese food today. I'm sorry. Low Life, what's up, brother? Thank you for coming. Creative Coralofis Dick, thank you for showing up for everything, man. I appreciate you. Samson Rivera, look at that. Samson Rivera is crushing it these days, and I believe he has another episode coming out. Not next week, but the week after. Mac O'Morphs, what's up, brother? How are you doing? Green Line, myself, Charlie from Reagan Renee. We're introducing a campaign at the Southeast Reptile Expo to help disabled vets. So we're gonna launch that on the Saturday. I believe that's the 15th, and we're really looking forward to it. We got a lot of cool things happening with that. Roger Gray from Gray Family Snakes. Let's pop on that old collector soul, buddy. Brian Bodie, what's up, Brian? How you doing? Let me know when you're here again, Brian. Carter's Coils, what's up? I appreciate you coming. Erica from Plain Snakes, thank you for stopping by. Gregory Exotics, what's up, brother? Oh, we got my boy Brian here from Sky High Morse. What's up? Look at this. We got Troy coming in. Troy staying up late for an old guy. What's up, Troy? How you doing, man? Charlie is here. Charlie also has a show on the Fat Man Nation at 8 o'clock Saturday night, right before Snakes and the Fat Man. So everybody use Charlie, okay? Yeah, we'll close it out with Charlie, because I think that's it. You know why you're here, okay? This fucking stud right here. This is the reason that you're here, okay?
Yeah, 7th hottest guy in the reptile hobby.
7th hottest guy.
This right. I think Bob also was on the was going to be on the Hot Guys episode, and then somebody went to go have their leg chopped off, and we never did it.
I know we never did the Hot Guys episode. Yeah,
there's a Hot Guys episode.
Well, there was gonna be, and we had a votes, and you and Stephen were both in the votes.
Oh wow!
But then I got my leg chopped off, so we didn't do it. So, but we'll probably do it again this year. We'll see if Stephen maintains his 7th hottest guy.
Oh no! I was on the bottom rung. Come on, guys.
Did you really come in 7th?
Yeah, he really did come in 7th.
All right, no, this is Courtney bullying me, and what happened was Chris made a post saying like, "Oh, hey, here's like the 7 people in the post." He says in no particular order who are leading the vote, and he happened to list me last. And ever since then, Courtney's like, "You're the 7th hottest guy." Not even close to it. Like,
just so you know, Steven, I didn't want to hurt your feelings. It was absolutely in order. But
oh, no.
so yeah, so you are the 7th. Okay, but you
Come
know
on,
who
guys.
was in first? Mike Stefani. So yeah, Mike Stefani was in first, hottest guy in the reptile hobby right now.
I like Daniel's comment right there. Wages reptiles, the
wait, he came in 7th. Yeah. Yeah, that's about right. All right. Well, let's try and keep it kid friendly tonight. All right. Right. Yeah. Like, come on. What do you think I am? Okay. Let me tell you, Brian Bodie is a hot dude. I'm not crooked at all, but if I was slightly crooked, Brian Bodie would be one of the dudes I go after.
Where was this list? Like I want to see. I need to study this list.
Oh, it was last year. We didn't even have people to choose from. We just had people vote
right in
for just whoever they thought.
Wow.
Yeah. So it wasn't even like we gave them a list of 20 and they could pick from those 20. We just let it go all out.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, Justin, not on the list at all. Okay. JT, not on the list at all.
Oh, JT. So I expected JT to be top 5, honestly.
Dude, right? Because he's that beer commercial tough guy, American tough guy, right?
He's like the brawny man.
Yes.
Commercial, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so there was a few people that I never heard of that made the list too, but
no Miguel?
No, Miguel wasn't on it either.
Mexican, brown guy, really like I don't know.
Hard worker,
Nope.
That's the whole thing. So but originally what we were gonna do is we were gonna have, when I was having so many problems with the under 30 white women, we were going to have the hot guys come in all dressed up in drag. But now we can't really do that.
No, not in today's climate. Yeah, that might not work.
They would be a little more successful in the cancellation of the fat man if I were to do that. Okay. However, a lot of people did agree to it at the time. But let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Bob, Southeast show, 2nd show you're doing. 2nd show, and you're already competing with national shows that had like you're having people fly in.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I don't want to say we're like competing with these national shows because I know how much efforts and how many years it took them to develop that. But it is very cool to have the national type feel. Like we had customers from Puerto Rico and Dominican, all these people flying in. Customers from California. Had a guy from New York drive down, so it's like stuff that's just like crazy stuff for people to hear about it and travel in for.
Yeah, he's in here. Blake Python.
Oh, Blake, yeah. I mean, Blake was in here, yeah.
Yeah, drove down and got his car smashed open and robbed. So
welcome to Atlanta. That's his Atlanta gift.
But I know you don't want to say competing, but I what I really meant by that was like public opinion. Yeah. Is that you are a national show now. Yeah. Like you may not feel that way because it's only your 2nd show, but that's what public opinion is and word on the street. It's like you and Troy and what's the name, Nick, have both basically become national shows within a couple of shows, So I actually think that's good. And I actually think, for somebody like me, it's easier for me to get to Atlanta than it is to Tinley. I'll tell you that, So that's
nicer. I'll be honest. Tinley, every year March, it's 18 degrees going to Tinley.
Yeah,
it is tough. March and October is probably. It's probably their better months. That obviously to space them out. But that March and October, it could be snowing. It could be nice. With Tinley, you really never know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, both. Yeah, actually, both months, right? Yeah, it's like it could be. It could be nuts, and I know it was always freezing when we went there. you know. So, but you guys got snow now, so it might be freezing down by you too.
Yeah, we got snow for pretty much the whole week last week, but I'm hoping because we never get snow. Like last year we didn't even see a bit of snow, but this year we've got snow twice already. So I'm hoping it got it out of the system and just freaking goes away, and we have weather like we did today. It was 60 something, almost 70 degrees today. It was warm. It's nice. I shipped a bunch of animals out today too. So it's honestly, if we can get just this weather for the show, it'd be great.
Yeah. Yep. You know what's funny is Georgia got more snow than New York got.
Yeah, that's we got more snow than some. Like Brock Wagner was commenting, like there was no snow in Nebraska, and we were getting covered, you know.
Right, so right. Yeah, Jesus. Well, and Steven, you're obviously vending the show, right?
Yeah, I'm stoked. I wasn't there at the first one though. I wasn't.
I know you were with me in Canada.
Yep. We're caboarding.
Yeah,
we were international travelers.
That's right.
Up to America Light.
Yep. Yes, we were there, but you just did an episode of your documentary series on Bob, right? And that's coming out on the 12th.
Yes, at 8 o'clock, I think is what it is. I'd have to look at the exact time, but yes, 8 o'clock. And I am so freaking excited for this one. Like Bob's seen it because I sent him like the early stuff of it, kind of like what I did with you when we did the 15 minutes one. As we were saying a little bit before this, I feel like each one that we do, I am like improving a little bit on like the editing skills, the videography, the story, stuff like that. And I'm really excited for Bob's. What did you think of it when you saw it?
Oh, I thought so watching it, because he's sending me the early clips, just like that 2-minute clip first, and we're like, dude, this is like freaking Animal Planet style documentary.
Yeah.
You know, and then when we got into it, watching the full episode, I thought in my head, who the hell is gonna watch me for 45 minutes or however long it is talk about my snake stuff, right? And I was like, 40 minutes is a lot. But then I managed, when I was watching, because I sent it to Mary, obviously, and I sent it to my mom. And when I watched it, it kind of went through pretty quick. But we covered a lot of topics, went through the shows, went through COVID, went through all of it. So it felt like it went through pretty quick. And especially with multiple guest speakers that's on the episodes, it was great, honestly. The videography is good. So that's why I kind of hated Steven not being at our first show, because that he didn't get all the footage from our show for all of our ads. So this one, when he's at the show, I know he's vending, but I'm still going to have him do a lot of videos for our next show, for all of our advertisement and stuff like that.
Well, that was the same thing I thought. I was like, who's going to watch an hour and 20-minute video about the contest and me? And I'm like, and you're throwing Donato in it and Brian from Samson? Like, nobody's going to watch this, dude. But then he sent me the first clip, and it looked like something off the television, right? Well, like my main complaint because the only other ball python documentary to compare it to at the time was Dave Kaufman's, right? And Dave Kaufman's looked like just another blog that he was doing, but it was an hour and a half, right? When Steven sent me the footage and the shit looked like it was, right off of Animal Planet or 60 minutes, I was just like, yeah, this might be watchable, and turns out it was. And it's pretty funny because now Steven's at that point now where it's almost like a resume booster to have a video done about you from Leviathan Snakes.
There we go.
So I think that's an actual good thing. But that may be a bad thing for you, because that means that you're going to have to do more of them.
I like it. I find it super, super fun on like multiple different things. Like Bob's, like for yours, we had you, we had Brian, we had Donato, we had Shane, we had Antoine, and then like Courtney and I like in it as well. And it was just a blast getting to hang out with everybody, getting to like talk to people in person, which in not a show setting, just because you get to like get a better connection with people. And like for example, like Donato and Brian, like I had watched Brian's show, like his What's in Your Cup, and then his Friday one, I think it was Keeper's Corner. But I didn't know Donato beforehand, and it just felt like hanging out with you guys in New York just felt so natural and fun, and they crushed it on their interviews, and they really, really added to the documentary. And for Bob's, like, so Bob's, we went to Bob's, it was like right before Tinley in March, right? Yeah. So we went down to Bob's. Bob and Mary, amazing hosts. They like let us stay in their guest room and all that stuff. And anybody who hasn't been to Bob's house, our son, like he's 9, but we went over there for Bob's birthday this last summer. And as we're going, we're like, all right, Wyatt, you're 8 years old and you don't have very good social skills because you just watch YouTube all the time. And he'd be like, you cannot ask Bob how much money he has. You can't ask him how much his house cost. And we're going through all these different rules for him. We'd be like, and he has Pokemon cards. You cannot ask him for any of his Pokemon cards. And we get there, and Bob lives in objectively a mansion. It's a beautiful, amazing home. Like, it's incredible. And we get there, and everybody's hanging out in the backyard around Bob's pool. And Wyatt comes up to Bob and he's like, do you have Pokemon cards? And Bob's like, yeah, I have some Pokemon cards. And Wyatt goes, oh, well, I have Pokemon cards too, and they're really good. And Bob goes, my Pokemon cards are better than yours. Like, to an 8-year-old, Bob's Pokemon cards are better than Wyatt's. I'll just throw that out there. Like, but
yeah, Bob realizes that kids are just the worst, man. So it's so that's cool. I'm glad. I would have loved to that story to end with, and then Bob Roundhouse kicked Wyatt like fucking into the pool. That would have been great. Right?
Yeah, we battled over it. Yeah.
Yeah. When the first time, I think Courtney and I both came down there, we were buying a Super Banana Sunset female that was like 900 grams, middle of COVID, height of COVID prices, all that stuff, cash, because Bob was like, no, if you're not having cash, you're not even stepping foot in Atlanta. So we get there, and we had Ellie. Ellie was like a week old, like brand new, little teeny tiny baby in a car seat. Bob was out at lunch. He comes back. We're there already. We're hanging out with Chris. And he looks down at Ellie, this 1 week old baby in the car seat. And he's like, why did you bring that? Like,
I told him to bring cash, not a baby.
Yeah.
The worst trade offer ever.
I actually like that Bob was like, bring cash. That's very old school Bob.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's very Ralph Davis.
During COVID, you can request that. And they just have to do it.
Well, back then you could just do that too. And I can't tell you the amount of times we put $20,000 in a magazine in a FedEx envelope and just trusted the guy, okay, that it would be okay. So I appreciate the fact that you're keeping it old school like that, right? Just cash. That's very Limey too, right? Limey is a no credit card kind of guy. Yeah. So now, overall, you're happy with the documentary, Bob?
Oh yeah, I'm super happy with it. I thought it was gonna come out weird because I've never been like I've been on a lot of podcasts, but I've never been like recorded like that for like a video or anything like that.
Right.
And I tend to talk very fast especially when I'm being recorded for some reason. I get super nervous and I talk really, really fast. So I was thinking it's just gonna be me just word vomiting stuff, that no one's gonna give a shit about. And and it ended up pretty good. I thought some of the answers were pretty good, as if it was like scripted. So that sounded good. And most of it was just them like on the fly, like just asking questions and me giving them whatever I was thinking at the time. So we didn't have to run the script, or they didn't have to give me questions ahead of time. It ended up super smooth and just really good.
Your facility is actually big enough to just set up a camera crew in there, right?
Oh yeah, you can set it. You can set the camera crew right in the middle. You probably set a few beds for the camera crew, and yeah.
Make the room excessively large. The first time we shot with Steven was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we were at a hotel, and I thought Steven was bringing in a camera, right? Like just one camera. And Steven gets out of the car and he has like bags with him, like he's a grip or something, right? And we start walking into the hotel, and you could tell the look on the woman behind the desk. She was like, "What's going on there? Why are you guys bringing lights? Why are you guys bringing all this other shit?" So yes,
Quick addition.
Steven always goes big, you know.
Quick addition on that one. When we're all walking into this hotel, it is Chris, it is Shane, it's myself, and it's Courtney. Bunch of lights, bunch of cameras, walking into a hotel. Like,
yeah, one girl, three guys. But does your wife make an appearance in the video, in the documentary?
She does not. She doesn't really make many appearances in the reptile community. If you guys haven't noticed, the reptile community can be a little pervy.
No, get right out of town.
And I post her enough as it is, so I was like, and she was just like, "Nah, I don't want any part of the to be any part of this documentary." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So we just left it out of it.
And Steven, how much did you shoot to get that 45-minute?
A lot. So with Bob, we probably did 2-ish hours with Bob. We probably did about an hour and a half with Chris Pilgrim. We did probably 2 total hours with Brock. We probably did about 2 total hours with Will of RCR. 2-ish hours with Corey. And I think that's everybody in it. And then Courtney too. Courtney also recorded it. But that one was like, we kind of, for our parts, what we do is I kind of like get everything all made and I figure out like, what are the gaps? Like, what's the stuff we still need people to talk about? And then ours is much easier because it's like, all right, here's the like 3 questions we need to get answered. And then I took her parts and put it in there.
And Steven, when you're doing this now, are you doing like script markers? Are you doing a clapper before every person?
Yeah. I have for Christmas last year, I had gotten like the little like clapper thing with the little thing. Right. So rather than like snapping for it, I'm like, look how professional I am, Bob. Clack, 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 clack.
Like, it's so legit, man. He comes in with like the light stick, the boom mic and all this stuff, and then we go to Tinley together because they're recording our setup time at Tinley and all that. And he has this huge chest harness on with like this massive, very, very expensive camera system on his chest. And I'm just like, dude, I just breed ball pythons, man. You could have recorded me with a phone and it would have been fine. But honestly, the videos came out amazing. The sound came out amazing. It wasn't like, there's stuff running in the background they can hear or anything like that. Yeah, it came out really good.
Yeah, he showed up to Canada with that big chest rig. And I was like, what the dude? Like, what is this? And after 5 minutes of looking at it, I was like, I need one of those at the house, and literally I'm calling him the next week, like send me a picture of your thing. I want to buy everything that you bought, and have that set up here. So Steven is definitely legit. And also Steven is, I'm not going to say you're the one guy now, because there's probably about 3 to 5 people that are really putting out decent, good quality videos. But I think that you're like the arbiter of the making well done reptile videos at this point.
That's awesome. I'm stoked for that. Yeah. So when we started like ball pythons and all that stuff, I was into photography and not videography. And I used to be the social media manager for the South Carolina Army National Guard, and I had to do some videography there, but I never really liked it. And it wasn't until we got into reptiles and it was watching Cusco's stuff where I'm like, man, this guy's doing it right. Like, it looks beautiful. It's cinematic. It's professional. And it was really watching how good of quality his videos were that made me want to level up the videography we were doing, which I don't even think we had a YouTube channel at that point in time. And I'm super happy we did, because now videography is like my number 2 hobby right below ball pythons. Right. If I spend too much money on lenses and cameras and all that stuff, like way too much.
No, I get it. I remember telling people, like, when they were starting their YouTube channels, I was like, in a world where there are Brian Cusco videos, like, why would you aspire to do anything less? Like, like you could watch a well done Brian Cusco video, or you could watch some, dude just filming on his iPhone. which you know is fine, okay, but right now I think that you know the norm as far as YouTube in general is going towards more how you're doing it, Steven. You know, and I think that's a good thing. You know,
I'm excited about it. I find it fun, and I love watching like Reptile YouTube and all that stuff. I do feel like that within the last couple of years, a lot of people shifted towards lives, like podcasts and all that, which is great. But I do miss like the regular YouTube videos, like good topic, solid, concise video that they just deliver it well, however the production quality is, but it just sounds good and it's good content. And it's fast too. I like that. So I have a question for you guys on the documentaries, because we've done one on both of you guys now. So with the documentaries, when you very first heard, we asked you about it or we talked about it with you, what was your expectation? I feel like Chris is different because we hadn't done anything beforehand, and Bob had seen that one at least, so he had something to go off of. But what was your expectation?
Well, I was working with you on other projects prior to that a little bit, and you had won the 15 Minutes of Lame, and you were just always the guy that like came in with an idea and worked as hard on it as I would have. Like you know, I always tell everybody, like, you know, with Steven, I know I could partner with him because I know that he dots all the I's, he crosses all the T's. I mean, the guy just does everything. Steven's brain works in a way that most, you know, people in the hobby doesn't, because Steven thinks of everything. I mean, Steven and I were just throwing ideas out to each other one time, and Steven shipped me samples of the ideas from pro companies. You know, he's like, this is what it could look like if we do this, you know. So I knew it was going to come out great. Did I know it was going to come out as great as it was? Not until the first time you sent me that clip of Courtney walking through the rain and with the key in the door and all that. Then I was like, this shit looks like a movie, you know? So I knew from that point on that you were going to crush it. So.
Yeah, I had a different opinion, I think. I thought it was going to be lame, I'll be honest. It's a documentary about ball pythons, like, and a ball python breeder that I was like, who the hell's going to watch this? But then we're like, you know what? We like Leviathans, and Courtney hates me. I was like, maybe we'll do him this favor and she'll like me more. So we're like, let's just agree to it. But no, like when I watched the 2-minute clip that he sent me, I was like, dude, this is like all the cuts and all that is like came in clean. Everything was nice, and it was just like the music, you know, running through it, and it's just like kind of dramatic, you know, there's like a dramatic buildup and all this, and then it cuts over to like Brock Wagner talking, and it cuts over to, you know, Will, and it cuts over to Horde along. It's just like everything just kind of played in really well. But yeah, honestly, at first I was like, a ball python documentary should most like I don't feel like it should have been me to be, you know, like the main episode. I was like, okay, if we're gonna do a ball python documentary, obviously it should be like Kevin McCurley, or, you know, if you were early enough, Barchek, or, you know, someone like a really pinnacle person in the industry. But I do understand why you asked me, because I don't have anything to do and I'm free. But
yeah. Well, and then Bob probably thought, well, he did Chris Eaton first, so obviously that's out the window.
Yeah, he's not getting anyone real. Like he can't.
Yeah, obviously that's not going to quality people. You know. Like,
yeah. Like he could have, like, you know, I mean, there's a lot of guys like Ralph Davis, you know, or hell, even if you went back and got guys from like way back in the day, you know, you can get Eugene Bassett or stuff like that. And I'm 2 hours away, and I'll say yes, most likely. But I guess it is good to use me as a first episode, right? It makes people feel a little bit like less intimidated. So that other people can hop in and do the other episode. And I'm a minority, so now you get minority points too.
Oh, yeah. There we go. We got that checked off. Like,
dude, yeah, that's important.
You can show that this industry is just not all white guys. There's an Asian guy named Bob that also does this.
Yeah. There's a white guy filming them, but yeah, it's not all white guys.
So one thing I really liked about, like, specifically yours, Bob, and beyond the documentary and just like you overall, is I feel like that you have the I don't know, like poster child, excuse me, poster child for like the ball python story, where it was like not necessarily coming into it with $100,000 to drop, and like you talk about it in the documentary of like where you came from, and like you essentially did the build it up from nothing over years and years and years, and got to the point that you're at now, where like I don't want to throw out your business, but I mean, like, you've talked about it before publicly and all that stuff. Like, how much do you do each year revenue wise, ball pythons? You don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but I know you've talked about it before. So
is the IRS in the chat? We do pretty well, obviously, and the IRS knows that. Or if not, we wouldn't be able to buy this house. We do pretty well, and to make sure that all of our employees here also do pretty well, so they don't leave and go anywhere else. I almost feel like we've been so blessed in this industry, starting with pretty much nothing. I mean, I started off buying a pastel male in Daytona, 2007, and building that up from that to here over the years. So yeah, I do understand like the start from nothing instead of a lot of these, again, there's no shame or shade towards anybody that had a way better and faster start to me, because obviously I wish if I did get a $100,000 start, I would be even further ahead. And I feel like, but yeah, I think using me to start the episode gives a lot of new breeders that are in similar situations that are not starting with a lot of money or anything like that, and can take it slow, and sometimes it's better that we show that side so that breeders don't feel like they have to go full time 2 years into breeding. It took, I hatched, so I had ball pythons before that, but I hatched my first clutch in 2009, and I didn't go full time until 2016. So 7 years of gradually hatching more and more and more every year to build it up. Not just, okay, cool, I've had 10 clutches, let's go full time. And that's kind of like the message we're trying to send too. Take your time and enjoy the industry and enjoy the species, enjoy the hobby before you jump in full time, because it is super stressful. Chris, you've done this before as a business. It is extremely stressful, as you watch the genetic pricing go up and down. Stephen, as you take the plunge towards it, you'll understand it,
Yeah, even as you're making money, you're terrified that this will stop at any day. Right. This could, definitely stop at, next week or whatever. So it's a rough business, but it the top people show that it can be done,
Mm-hmm.
But like, when I think of the reptile business or the ball python business in particular, I just think of like how many like hard drive manufacturers are there, or graphic cards manufacturers are there? There's literally 1,000 of them, but you've only heard of 3 or 4 of them. So it just goes to show that that's every business, that the cream rises to the top, and then it trickles down to the rest of them. But overall, I got to see Bob early on. I mean, I was watching Bob when he was fighting with Sean, where Sean was being, a dick to him. Sean Bradley. Like, we go that far back.
We did our first. I think we did our first one-on-one interview 2016.
Yeah,
it's almost 10 years since we did our first one-on-one.
Yeah, it was. So you get to watch, and when you get to watch dudes do it, like Bob, like when Bob was, I think it was the blue sports car that you bought when you bought.
I bought a blue Corvette.
Yeah, blue Corvette, right? And everybody was like, "Man, look at this motherfucker showing off his money." I was like, "I hope that motherfucker gets 2 of them." Okay, now, because fucking everybody was just complaining. I was like, Bob want to buy his wife a red one now, with this money. People hate on success no matter what you do, So I'm sure Bob has haters. I'm sure Bob doesn't have as many haters as like I have, but I'm sure that Leviathan has haters too, And you guys are like the nicest guys in the fucking hobby. All right. So, you know, I mean, your wife, not so much, but fucking you, Steven, definitely the nicest guy in the hobby. So there's always going to be people hating on it, but at the end of the day, you know, like Bob's at that level now with Justin, with Ozzy, with you know all the bigger people, and he did it in what, in 13 years, 14 years.
Yeah, I mean, I put Bob. Yeah,
I mean, for people that don't realize how long 2 years is, 14 years has to sound like an eternity. Okay, because you got people giving up after 2 years when the female doesn't go, you know. So so I would imagine 14 years would sound like it's impossible, but you actually have two people here that prove that it's not, you know, because Leviathan's been doing this 6 or 7 years, right?
Yeah, we started in 2020, so this is our fifth season.
Fifth year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, real quick on the haters, I haven't told Courtney this yet, but today actually I got banned from our ball python breeders on Reddit because I told somebody, like, made a comment in there saying that it's like nobody should get into breeding ball pythons because like the market's down, it's oversaturated. And I'm like, we got in COVID when prices were sky high. This is a way better time to buy into ball pythons. Like, oh, yeah. And I got banned from our ball python breeders because I disagreed that it's a good decent time to get in.
Well, the Theo Von thing really like probably had a lot to do with that, right? Because the Theo Von thing, I you know, all that did was for all the people that are saying, let's grow the hobby, let's make the hobby great again. All that did was take away 8 million people from your pool of potential, you know, people that you could go to, because they could turn around and say, you know, I heard on Theo Von that it was a pyramid scheme, you know.
Those 8 million people don't own ball pythons to start with. And then all that's going to have them do is they're going to go Google what this ball python thing's about. So all it does is open more eyes to our industry. They're going to go look it up and they're like, whoa, there's money in this thing. Well, what do I need to do to get started? You know, when I find out about new pyramid schemes, sometimes I'm like, well, how can I make money off of that shit? You know, so
one of my coworkers, because I work at a bank and all that stuff, so one of my coworkers had heard the Theo Von like stuff, and they asked me about it because they know I'm into snakes and everything, and I'm like, I don't fault them because they don't know, like the podcaster people, they don't know what they don't know. And then I kind of explained to it and she's like, oh, it's like breeding horses, like purebred. I don't even know what horse stuff is, but that's how she related to it, because she has horses and stuff. And it's like, oh, you're taking like really expensive rare combos and you're like tracking the lineage down essentially. She's like, it's just like horses, is what she said.
Mm. Well, I think also like the people that were getting pissed off about it, if somebody on a national level calls your business a scam, if you just remortgage your house to be in that business, of course you're going to be mad and pissed off at that person, right? You're not going to be happy about it. So, no, keep that question up from Jeremy. I'm curious about that too, Bob. how many Bitcoin do you have?
I actually do not currently own any more Bitcoin. I had quite a few coins in 2015, 14. Then in 2016, I started trading them more back and forth because the prices were so volatile. I just had the coins. I'll be honest. I had the coins because I played so much online poker back when from 13 all the way through. And that was one of the ways to deposit money without it being like flagged or anything by your bank. So you'd buy Bitcoin and then use Bitcoin to pay these online gambling sites. And before I did insurance, I played poker full time. I would play poker 7-8 hours a day, play for a living. So that was why I had so many of the Bitcoins. And in 2013, from 2015 on, I was trading Bitcoin back and forth, and I probably made about $75,000-$80,000 off Bitcoin, and I used that to buy a lot of snakes and got out. So hindsight, yeah, could I have made an extra $200,000-$300,000 off Bitcoin if I kept all my coins? Yes, but then I also used all of my profit from it to buy animals. Like I bought my first DG Pied male in 2018 from Fireball for $10,000, and I honestly didn't even think much of it because I just cashed out a Bitcoin and paid for it.
Right.
So, you know, back when I was making so much money off Bitcoin, I was just like, it's free money. Pretty much all I did was buy a coin at $800 and then sat on it and traded it back and forth. When Bitcoin was $3,000, I might have made 20 different posts on Facebook about it, you know, telling people to buy in. And who cares if it's a pyramid scheme? I already made $80,000 off the deal. So, you know, in my mind, more people bought in, more money I made. So, so even if it is a pyramid scheme, as long as I was making money at the time, I was just like, yeah. And then hindsight, I would be a millionaire by now, just keeping those coins, you know? So yeah, with the Bitcoin thing, I do, I have so many regrets on some of these coin stuff because Doge, God, I might have, like, at current pricing, I would have had about $200,000 of those coins because I bought in for like $1,000 when it first dropped on Robinhood. And I had so many coins. And as soon as it doubled, I sold it. I was like, literally, oh, made $1,000, I'm out. Right. And I was like, there's no one's going to buy this crap. And then COVID hit and it just went through the moon. Safe Moon, I think I lost $10,000 with Safe Moon. But again, you gain here, you make a lose there. I made, I think, another 10 or 15 grand from Ethereum. Oh, I only know that now because the IRS just emailed me sent me a letter saying I owe money on that because all of my Ethereum gains were through Robinhood, and I did not claim any of those gains, and they just sent me a letter about it. From 2022 or 23. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Safe Moon hurt all of us. I think between just the snake breeders alone, at least 150 grand, dude, easily from snake breeders.
I think it's interesting because a lot of our initial money that we bought like ball pythons with was from me being a degenerate gambler on stock options. Like I would do like weekly calls, weekly puts, things like that. And then I got pretty lucky on it for a bit. And then the COVID like actual stock market crash happened. And I'm like, you know, I'm just going to take what I've made and I'm going to do ball pythons for a bit. Like now it's just mutual funds for me because it would stress Courtney out. Like,
and again, I tell people all the time when I was buying Bitcoin, you buy it with your excess money. Don't use your freaking paycheck. You know, just buy it with random money. You know, right. If you had like an extra $300-$500 here, buy half a coin, buy a coin. I was buying full coins in 2013 or 12 with $300 a coin. It was one of those years. I was playing poker like full time, so I was just buying coins and leaving them there. And then I left my accounts at all times with like 4 or 5 coins, so that I can load my account back and forth. And when you cash out through Bitcoin and stuff like that too. So I had quite a few coins going back and forth. But if I would have just hoarded all those coins, obviously. But then again, hindsight, 2020, I would have never bought a desert male for $4 grand, you know, in 2000. And I think it was like 14 or 13. I paid $4 grand for a desert male. I would have bought a desert ghost male that year instead for the same price and make 100 times the money. You know, just again, we were doing okay. So I'm not mad about any of the decisions I made in the past. You know, yes, I could have made a ton more money or I could have lost a ton more money. You know, COVID could have hit and it all could have went into the shitter. So who knows, you know, but.
Yeah. What's the most expensive snake that Bob ever bought?
Is that the DG Exantic clown from Tinley?
Yeah, I bought one at Tinley.
That was list price for $75,000.
Yeah.
Donato, my ex-partner, just hit VPI Exantic Clown Desert Ghost.
Wow.
And somebody offered him 30 grand for it. And he's keeping it. He's not going to sell it. Mm-hmm. And I gotta be honest, I don't think if I was in that position, I could do that. I think if somebody's going to offer me 30 grand for a snake.
30's low. I'll be honest, 30 is low.
30's low? Yeah.
30's low.
Yeah, but he's keeping it, banking on that snake making him 200,000 next year, you know.
If it's a male, if it's a male, he can make 200 next year, for sure.
Yeah, it's a male. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a male for I bought it for more than 50,000. And we made all of the money back within, I think, so I was very, very fortunate. I had a good relationship with the guy I bought it from, with Matt. He sent me pictures, videos of it eating and all that. And I was like, this thing's ready to breed. And he goes, oh no, it's like 700 grams. I took it home, and again, I got a lot of flack from this, pairing him like as soon as I got back, pretty much. But I have to explain to people, I'm not telling people, oh, you need to pair your snake as soon as you get him home. But also, I paid a ton of money for the snake. I have animals that are ready to breed. I had a girl at 30 millimeters. And so basically what you do, and I explain to this all the time to people, if you want to quarantine an animal, obviously you bring it home, you want to quarantine an animal and you want it to breed it immediately, just move that female to the quarantine rack. So they're both in that quarantine area. And I was explaining that, and they flamed me. They were like, well, now you're putting your female at risk. And I was like, yeah, I was making a calculated decision that I need to make this $60,000 back, at some point.
Right.
And she's at 30 millimeters, is the perfect female for him. I wait an extra 2 weeks and you lose the clutch to a different male. And sure enough, he sired the clutch. We made back about $40,000 2 months after that. So a lot of times when people are investing in, I tell them these are calculated risks. It's like jamming all in on a open-ended straight flush draw. Yes, you are literally a favorite to win the hand. It doesn't mean it's always going to work out. But jamming, is a calculated risk, against any hand other than a set, you're good. So, yeah, a lot of times when you're investing, like you're asking, like, oh, what's your biggest investment? The second biggest or I guess the first big investment when I first got into the industry, like fully in, was a DG pied, but it was a male. I have a fleet of pied female combos waiting for him. So literally the day he hit 800 grams, he had females lined up waiting for him to breed. And because we had enough clutches, we made $200,000 off of him within a year, so It's just calculated risks and having a game plan for it.
Now, obviously you answered the question, but so you would still buy a $50,000 snake today?
Oh yeah. I bought one literally less than 1 month ago. Yeah.
Fuck you, Bob. Right?
I spend so much money on snakes. It's stupid. Yeah.
Is there ever arguments with the wife when you spend 50 grand on a snake?
The surprising thing is I don't know we've ever fought about me spending money on anything. Because again, we have our separate accounts. We have our separate accounts, and then we have a joint account. It's just a savings account, but we have our separate accounts for all the bills and everything. God, I'm trying to think if she's only ever gotten mad at me because I'm so cheap. I am such a cheap ass. I'll be honest. Anything outside of my hobbies and my passions, like this stuff, I'm so cheap. So like when we went to a show one time to Bend, and I booked the shittiest hotel you can come up with because I was like, cool, $70 a night, booked it. We walked in and the carpet's wet, it's muggy, it's smoky, the fridge is gross. Like literally, it was just a piece of shit hotel. She said, I will never go to another reptile show with you if you book these type of hotels. So from now on, if she attends the show with me, I let her book the hotel. So now we're paying, stupid money for hotels instead. But yeah, I think the only time we argue is because I am so cheap when it comes to snakes, Pokemon cards, stuff like that. Then I don't spend any money. I don't buy any of my own clothes. I'll be honest. I haven't bought a t-shirt in 10 years. I just go to reptile shows and walk from table to table and grab t-shirts off people's booths. Yeah, I don't buy anything.
All right, I got two additions to this one. All right, so one, it's not just me, Courtney. See, it's not just me. Two, Bob and Mary were telling us about it was Vietnam, right? And like it's like haggling is part of the culture.
Oh yeah.
And the exchange rate between like American dollars and like Vietnamese is insane. Like what's so
one US dollar is 25,000 dongs. Okay, so you are so uber rich over there. It doesn't even make sense.
So Bob is telling me. Go ahead. Yeah, so it would be like he'd go into a place and they'd have like, I don't know, Jordans because they have the factory down there. So it's like they just have Jordans, like legit Jordans, and they'd be like, oh, it's $20 American, and Bob's like, I'll give you 12 and not a penny more. And it's like, please, this feeds my family. He's like, fine, 13, and you're gonna like it. Like,
Yeah, I went over there. I bought Jordans. I bought Yeezys. So I didn't bring any clothes with me to Vietnam. I brought 3 pairs of clothes, knowing that was the travel time. And as soon as we landed, I told my sister, "Hey, I have no clean clothes. We need to go buy." So I went and bought like 10 pairs of underwear. I went 10 pairs of shorts, and everything's $1, so you just buy whatever. And I go to the Jordan, the lady selling fake Jordans. Well, I say fake Jordans. I mean, they're made over there, so they're real Jordans. But Jordans that they steal out of the factory. And I was like, "Look, man, I got $13." I tell her straight up, and then she was like, "What?" And so we're sitting here haggling back and forth, and I pull like this meatloaf of Vietnamese cash out, and I'm like shelling out I don't know, $13 is like a few $100,000 over there, and then you're just like paying them. Yeah, cheap is a relative term. Okay, I am cheap, or I like to save money where I can. There you go. Let's go with that.
Well, I knew Steven was like that when they came to New York, and I picked him up at the hotel, and Courtney just came out shaking her head, and she's like, "Fucking cheap bastard! We flew Spirit up here. The plane, the engine stopped in midair, like it just got quiet." Right?
This happened. This happened.
And I was like, "Damn, go JetBlue, Steven." All right.
We going up to Brock's, we flew Southwest, and I was living in luxury. Southwest compared to Spirit is like, oh man, where's the caviar? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, with Spirit, it's almost like bolted down folding chairs.
Yes.
And it's just
basically like, yeah. You get a
why would
piece
you
of plastic chair?
Yeah. There's no screen on the back of the seat in front of you. There's nothing like that. There's a fucking what do they call those stretchy things that they use on trucks?
The bungee cords.
It's a bungee cord with a plastic bag, like just a trash bag on it.
But when you brought up like my wife like getting mad about like our travels, now she plans all the travels because like she knows how cheap I am. I don't plan anything. We went to Vietnam for 1 month. Literally, I have no idea what we're doing, what flights we have. I have no idea anything that's going on, and I just let her plan all of it, and it's been super nice. Like we flew first class on the way there. It was like literally like everything that she feels like we could afford, she just goes ahead and books. I have no idea what happens, and I just show up with a passport. That's it.
Read Courtney's comment because this is 100% true.
That's legit. Okay, because pants take up a lot of room, and they only allow so much. Especially if you're flying Spirit, they don't allow carry-ons because they charge you for everything.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Thank you. Also, by the way, Courtney breaking the super chat seal over here. I mean, we gotta give some thanks to Chris for letting us come on here and pimp the documentary and SCRE. Which, if anybody in the chat,
if you guys want to throw super chats, please do. That'll help pay for the Georgia trip. All right.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Bash Coder today, and we're like, we're going down there. And unlike 99.5% of the vendors going down there, we have zero hope of getting any money back, right? And Bash Coder's like, it kind of makes you want to start doing ball pythons again, right? And then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, maybe. If I'm gonna keep going to these fucking shows, all right. So it's
how many other shows are you doing, Chris?
Well, since we're doing this disabled veteran thing, we got I think 4 other shows lined up. We're doing one in Gettysburg. We're just doing a local Gettysburg show. Then we're doing a Long Island show. The Long Island show is actually really cool because it's in an aviation museum. Oh, wow. So they have like World War II and World War I planes like in the museum, and you just set up your shit underneath it. So there'll be people selling snakes right underneath a B-22 bomber or whatever, and it's a really cool place. So we're doing that one. Then we might be doing Albany. We're just doing local shows. I don't want to have to fly. It's gonna be my first time flying in the chair with the chair, and I'm like, what if they lose the chair? I'm only bringing one, all right? like then I'm fucked, all right? There better be a chair warehouse down there in Atlanta that I could just go to in case they lose it. So, we'll see what happens. But it's definitely going to be a fun. It'd be nice to be behind a table again, regardless of what we're selling, So It's gonna be fun. Corey DeLong and Steven actually are actually on the limited edition shirts that we're hawking. So it's gonna be fun, man. So yeah, we got a lot of look at Steven. You don't really expect him to be in the military, right? But then I was going through his Facebook the other day to pull some pictures for this thumbnail. There's a lot of military Steven on his Facebook.
12 years in the military.
Yeah,
very cool.
There's definitely a lot of military Steven. And Steven with short hair, and I mean short hair, not just what he has now, the Superman cut. But fucking when he's like buzz cutted, totally different. But you wouldn't even think it was Steven. Right?
There we go. When I was like
meth dealer. Yeah.
When I was in high school, so I joined the military when I was 17 years old. And I had the like swooshy Justin Bieber hair. I go to basic training, shaved it all off. Like
yeah. Bob, were you ever in the military?
No, but I was in Nam, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Yep. No, I actually I went to enlist in 2011. Yeah, 2011. That's where I met Chris Pilgrim. He was a recruiter, so he was going to be my recruiter. So I had just graduated college. We are going to go through the officer route, and I went into enlist and went through the whole thing. You know, everything looked good. I was like basically like the unicorn that they would want as a recruiter, right?
Right.
A foreigner, college degree, I passed through everything, physically fit, you know, enough to go in and all that stuff. Then we went through and I found out I had a tumor under my foot. That was, so that's towards 2012, we found out I had a tumor. So they medically DQ'd me. And then I ended up just working with Chris moving forward for the next 2 years with the Marine base there and doing their financials. So I ended up helping them do all their financial classes with all the new recruits and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my only experience with the military was I went through the sign up process and then they said, you can't do it. That was it.
Right. Well, speaking of Chris, tell him to check his request folder in his Instagram because I sent him a thing about this veteran thing that we're doing, and I know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's in DC, I think today. He's been traveling all over the world doing secret government stuff. So yeah, he's in DC today. He just messaged me. So yeah, I'll hit him up a little bit. Oh, cool, yeah. Jeremy. I didn't know you're born in Okinawa. You're as Asian as I am. And I will be there. I'll be in Okinawa in April. We're doing some herping there, so it'll be pretty cool.
That's fucking Karate Kid type of Japan, right?
Yeah. What down, Steven?
Oh, I was saying that's the Japan show that you're going to with Justin, right?
Yeah, so we're going to be at the International Reptile Show in Japan in April. We're only going to be there, obviously, for a few days. But since the flight is so long, I told Justin we're going to go for 12 days and try to get some herping in. I think Scott Wilkinson from the UK is going to meet us there. I'm not sure if anybody else is going to be there, but again, we'll be herping I think we're 4 days herping in Okinawa, and then we fly from there to Kyoto, and then herping there for 2 days, and then fly back.
That's 12 days.
We got to do at some point, not this one because it's too short notice and all that stuff. And I mean, damn, but we need to do a documentary like thing on like a herping trip. We can get you guys going down to Florida, and we can start up your investigation again.
Yeah, maybe not Florida. I think I'm done with Florida. I think we are 100%. We already caught everything there. Let's just go with that excuse. My next herping trip that we just booked flights for today will be in Texas. We're doing Amarillo, or whatever in Texas. It's we fly into Dallas, I think, and then we drive into the middle of nowhere. You met my employee Ryan. He has family there, so we're gonna get a free Airbnb. And dude, when we herp, we really slum it, man. We book like literally the bottom of the barrel Airbnbs usually with like one bathroom with 5 dudes. It's just usually a pretty shithole. But again, we always have a good time. The last one was actually one of the nicest Airbnbs we've gotten in South Florida. It was like on a fruit farm. So we were able to pick like Logan's and star fruit and all this shit and eat it during the trip. It was super nice. But yeah, we did Puerto Rico last year. Well, I think I'm gonna do Puerto Rico again this year, so that would be a fun trip if you guys end up wanting to do that one, because that one's a fun one, because you go to Puerto Rico, you don't expect to catch anything too crazy, and then people are catching like retics and reptile boas and stuff like that.
That's really cool. I know Courtney and I are planning on doing Costa Rica, I think in June.
Oh yes, I've been talking to you guys about that. We should definitely do that.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited for it.
Something I just want to ask before we'll get going soon. But what happened to Reptilian Nation? Are they even in business
from them since the show? We haven't heard.
I know, neither have I. That's why I had to ask. I was like, Bob Vu basically ran him out of town.
I haven't heard anything. I almost purposely planned this show on this date because I know they have another show in South Florida. So I know they're not going to split up their team and efforts and do another show in Georgia just to screw me over. So it was kind of strategic planning with us, like date wise. And again, I don't want that type of conflict with Ryan. All it does is just more stressful for us, more stressful for him. We're both spending money advertising for no reason. So, so even our fall show or summer show, we moved the dates just to get off of his dates in case he decides to come back to Atlanta. I'm hoping he doesn't. I'm hoping it wasn't worth the stress and the amount of money made, so that to stay out of Atlanta, I don't continue attacking his areas. Again, I don't plan to get out of Atlanta. Atlanta is a really good location for me, especially. But throwing out the idea that there could be a Florida show moving forward with Ty Park, I'm not gonna, or Southeast Reptile Expo will not be expanding anytime soon. We just want to do Atlanta and get it down perfect. We want this show to be so good that people want to come in and visit it and see premier vendors that they don't get to see at other shows. So just get this show as big as possible. I don't want to spam like 5 more shows in different cities, and then it kind of takes away from our attention to detail, our attention to the vendors, and stuff like that. So again, different routes for everybody. The guys doing 100 shows a year, 200 shows a year, they obviously have their own logic and why they do it and their systems of making money. My idea for this is just basically one show twice a year, as best of our abilities, throw all of our eggs into it and do it that way. So
yeah, overall, I just had to ask because I heard nothing about them since the whole Atlanta problem.
Haven't gotten a text, a message, anything. Honestly, we haven't heard a peep out of them since.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna head out now, but guys, Steven, what do you have to say?
Oh, no. Thank you so much for having us. This is a blast. We really appreciate you coming in, and we owe you. We owe you for letting us jump on your channel and promote our stuff. So
yeah, it's fucking 15 minutes of lame winner and Bob Vu. What am I gonna be like? No, fuck those guys. All right, no. Right. Yeah, and the whole Nation channel has been inundated with Bob Vu this week. So fucking I love it. Bob just did our celebrity Zoom call. Fucking a lot of people were happy with Bob. So it was definitely very cool. So thank you guys for picking to be on the show. Where are you going on next to promote?
So I think it's next going to be myself and Brock on MJ's channel, and then it's going to be Winston and myself on Adam's channel, and then it will be the week of SCRE and the documentary will come out and all that.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. We're gonna say goodnight now.
Cool. Give me 1 second. Just a quick announcement. Obviously, you guys have your own sponsors, so I'd like to thank all of the SERE sponsors. And then announce that we picked up a new sponsor for our show. For this show specifically, would be Monster Energy Drink. We'll be sponsoring Southeast Reptile Expo. They will be at the show giving away free Monster Energy drinks to all of our vendors.
Very cool. Monster used to sponsor one of the bigger venues in LA that we used to run shows at. So I know that they're a good partner. So that's awesome. Good for you, man.
I post so many memes about us. Like when we go herping, we literally go through a whole case of Monster every time we herp. And I met the reps at a show last weekend at a Pokemon card show, actually, or a sports card show. And we met the reps there, and I was telling Daniel already emailed them before, and they basically like didn't respond. And then when he talked to them at the show, they were like, "Yeah, just email this email." So they gave him like a personal email, and so he emailed them. And I was explaining to him like, "Dude, we drink so much Monster as snake people. We love this brand, blah, 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 blah." And they're like, "You know what? Yeah, we will do your show." And then they emailed Daniel back this morning saying, "Yeah, we'll send out a team. We're going to give away swag and drinks and all that, and we'll get it hooked up." So free Monsters for all the vendors.
That's super cool. I thought you were messing with us. That's awesome. Like
that's awesome. I love seeing like national, not in the hobby sponsors coming in and sponsoring people in the hobby. So that's great. That's very cool. Congratulations on getting Monster, Bob. That's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you. You guys can head out. I'm just going to close out the show, and I will see both of you guys in 3 weeks.
All right, later, guys.
All right, take it easy, guys. Oh, that was fun, right? Little surprise show with Bob and Steven. So I definitely had a good time. They're definitely good people. I'm looking forward to this show a lot. So we will catch some video while we're there. Like I said, we'll be announcing the Deeds Not Words, Operation Deeds Not Words, disabled veteran charity for this year. And we're going to be launching that Saturday morning at 10 a.m. when the show starts. So if anybody in the chat is there, stop by our booth and see us and let us explain and pick yourself up a shirt and show support for disabled veterans. If you like all the shit that you've been seeing here, we're just about to release a season 2 of Storytellers on the Patreon page, where we got some great old school people telling old school stories. Join the Patreon for as little as $5 a month. You get access to everything, for that $5 as soon as you join. And there's hours and hours worth of different exclusive video and everything else on there. So if you want to do that, I would appreciate it. The next show is gonna be on the 1st, where I'm gonna have Darren Forthrop from England over. We call him the Mountain, okay, because he looks like the Mountain from Game of Thrones. And he's one of ball python royalty up there in England, or out there in England. And HJS Serpents are gonna throw their hat in the ring for 15 minutes of lane. And then I believe we're gonna have My One Black Friend before Atlanta. And then Sunday night, this Sunday, we have another Fat Man Live. So listen, hope to see you guys there. I'm gonna throw us out with this dumb little bumper again. I appreciate all of you guys stopping in tonight. You guys are definitely the reason the Fat Man Nation exists. So I will talk to you in a few days, guys. Take it easy.